Welcome back, everybody, to the last episode of Ragecraft 2. I bet you thought that this series was over, but nope, we've got one thing left to do. So the Victory Monument is finished. The bonus Victory Monument also finished, got all the emerald blocks, all of the wool. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter, I could fall. I'm so tanky at this point, it doesn't matter. But I almost fell down there. I've had a number of comments asking for me to do a brief walkthrough of basically go back and look at the different areas and just give my thoughts on them. Brief thoughts. So that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to blow stuff up. Because I built a creeper grinder quite a while ago, and turns out it just wasn't practical to use TNT in this map because of all of the emeralds. So if you use TNT wantonly as an offensive tool in this map, you're liable to blow up emeralds, and then you won't be able to finish this thing. And we got some really cool stuff out of that. And I don't know, I wouldn't have felt right about it if we didn't manage to finish this as well as that. Even though that's optional, I wanted to do it. So, now that we've finished everything, we can go back and blow stuff up. But I've only got a few stacks of TNT. I used all the sand I had accrued. And I do have a bunch of gunpowder already. But we're going to need to dig out a bunch of sand, so I need to make some shovels. I've used absolutely all of my bottles of enchanting. It took every last one I had. I probably had like a dozen stacks of those bottles of enchanting, something like that, a lot. And I used that to repair all my stuff that almost broke from last episode. And I have a bunch of efficiency books. So we need to go hit up the grinder anyway to get some experience going to make these shovels. And I thought we would start with the first area, 2 1/4 stacks of TNT, probably good enough to blow up the first area. And I thought I would give, on the way there, if I would give one piece of constructive feedback on what to change in future Ragecrafts. I know Ragecraft 3 has already been released, so this is probably maybe for Ragecraft 4, I don't know. But the one thing I would say is that the emerald objectives are cool, like getting bonus stuff and like high-powered stuff like this with 20% speed. That's really awesome. And sharpness 7, I love that. But all of the emeralds being in miscellaneous chests is turned into kind of like a needle in a haystack kind of thing. And there are certain areas with like invincible charged creepers where you just don't know if the chest that they're next to, and there's a lot of chests all over the map, you don't know how valuable they are. So I would propose a system something like this, where you would see the normal chests scattered through the map, and they would just have random loot, food, tools, armor, stuff like that. And then, every once in a while, you would come across something like this, and this chest would always have 1 emerald in it, and you would know that by the stained clay underneath it. It doesn't have to look like this. I just mean there needs to be some visual cue that the map maker uses, so that you know when you see this, that's got an emerald in it. I need to be super careful about this chest in particular when there's charged creepers. In contrast to this one, if this one blows up, that's okay, because you're only losing stuff that's not super duper important. And then this one might have 2 emeralds, and this one might have 3. And this is, I just mocked this up. I don't think they look very good. I just wanted to illustrate the principle of visual cues to let the player know that one chest is more valuable than these other chests. I think that would help a lot, letting the player assess threats, how carefully he needs to treat an area when it's got a bunch of creepers and stuff like that. That's my major piece of feedback for the map, is to do that, and also allow the player, if they know how many emeralds are in an area, they can sort of spot those from a distance. In certain areas, like the hunting grounds, really difficult to make sure you found everything, because just there's no vision. There's so many trees and hills and like pits and stuff that you normally can only see like this far, 3 or 4 blocks ahead of you, maybe a little more. And so I think something like that might really help, so that the player is a little bit more informed as to just how to assess things. Okay, here we go. Last sanctuary. So, I think we'll start here, and then I've got to get some more gunpowder, get some more sand. I gotta make some shovels. But we'll start off with this guy. This is where the first wool was. Okay, so my brief impressions of the area. This area is really well done, and it kind of gives you a primer of what to expect. A very focused experience, very good difficulty scaling, and you had to, this area was themed around getting that potion to swim up through the llama, so you had to collect the different stuff. I think this is a really good starting area. Has a very good balance of loot and gear, but now we got to blow it up. Alright, here we go. Hopefully that works. Hopefully it blows it up enough. Say goodbye, white wool. Kerblam! Alright, not too shabby. Okay, so that's all the TNT I had. Now we need to go get some more. Let's go hit up the experience grinder. Get some more gunpowder, make some shovels, make a lot of TNT. Alright, so we're going to skip the Nexus and the Descent. They don't have any wall. We'll just focus on the areas that actually give you wall. So next up is the Little Empire. I thought this area had a cool design, but it is way too big. I mean, look way down there. This map could be like its own map, basically. If you took one area from this map, Ragecraft 2, and made it its own thing, it would probably be this one. It's probably the one he made first because it seems really big. And none of the other areas in the map are nearly this big that I can think of. Except, well, maybe Trinity Caves, but that one doesn't have nearly as many buildings. So this one's got 2 wools in it. The second one is this castle, which I have covered in all the TNT I made, something like 8 or 9 stacks. And the other one suffers from the needle in the haystack problem. That is a problem in a lot of CTMs, not just this one. And what I mean by that is there's nothing to let you visually say, okay, we should investigate this. It'll probably have the wall. When you see this castle, you're like, all right, that's probably got the wall. We should go conquer that thing. We don't need to explore every single building in the entire map. But no, the other wall, I think it's in the pumpkin patch, and I can't really see it from here. I think it might be underneath us, like 2 levels down or something. But the pumpkin patch where the other wool is, there's nothing really to let you visually say, okay, this is a threat. There should be an objective here. And it forces this needle in a haystack thing where you've got to search every building in the entire area just to find that wall. Same problem with the emeralds. I do think the area is fun, but it's just too big. And the other wool needs to have some better visual indicators that there's a wool there. Okay. So I used all my TNT for this area. Hip. Let's pop down here. And hopefully this works. I'm going to shoot the entrance. I'm not sure how much we'll actually see. Hey, bullseye. Oh, is it going to put on blast resistance? Just in case. Okay, now it should be going around and up the staircase. There it goes. Okay, it worked. I was right there for a second. Take that! Oh man, that's awesome. Keep going. No, don't stop. Oh, maybe we should chase it. Or is it done? Oh. Yeah, it's done. Goodbye, castle. Whoop. Whoa! Enderman. So guys, the TNT from that last clip when we blew up the castle in Little Empire, that actually took me about 4 hours to farm for that, and I want to do that for every area, so I was kind of faced with a decision. Either farm it all up naturally and wait like 2 weeks to release the video, or delete the video, never do it, or since we've already beaten the map, let's just bend the rules a little bit. So from here on out, fair warning, all the TNT has been cheated in. We've beaten the map, we don't have to play by the rules anymore, I just want to blow stuff up and talk about the map in a timely fashion. So that's what's going on. This is Death Row, Intersection 1 prison area. Cool premise where you get teleported in. Unfortunately, you don't get really teleported in very far. It's very easy to get back out. Maybe that's better for Intersection 1. My major complaint with this area is that the layout is really confusing. Really, really confusing. I don't know what the benefit is. I don't know if it's intentional or maybe just a side effect of the way map makers design dungeons. But the layout is very confusing, and it doesn't increase the difficulty, it just leads to a bunch of backtracking, trying to find, well, did I explore this room? Did I get all the treasure there? I do think that the layouts could be a little bit more straightforward, easy to follow, have some kind of internal logic to them. Anyway, this area where the wool was actually really, really awesome. Had a bunch of stairs, and I had just gotten a 100% knockback item. I think it was a helmet. I don't remember. Maybe boots. And so you could run up these stairs, and it was just a chaotic time. I really enjoyed this area. This room in particular, more than the prison itself. All right, have some TNT. Oh. Oh, they're all on fire. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, silverfish! I forgot about that. Oh, that's weird. They're falling and then spreading. Oh god, still going. It's still going. I'm being pushed around by water. It's still going. Oh, that's crazy. I'm getting experience. All right, next up is the Brimstone River. I really liked this area. It was the first time I really realized how themed the different areas were going to be. It had the zombies that you would kill, and they would drop a fire resist potion to allow you to take on things like the blazes and deal with lava and stuff like that. If I remember correctly, I think that's the way it worked. But I liked this area. It was nicely difficult without being impossibly difficult. However, it does have the needle in a haystack problem. Like previous areas, this is where the wool is for the area, and there's nothing really to let you know visually that, hey, this is the objective, come focus on it. Maybe there should have been, instead of just being cave, maybe you should have set it off with, like, it should have been more constructed. It needs to look different. It needs to look visually different, and it really doesn't, except for the fact that there are blaze spawners up here. Anyway, the wool, which I was quite surprised at when I found, is right over there. Right in that pit of TNT. Okay. You gonna blow up? You are! Holy moly! Alright, next area up is the Brimstone Labs. This was easily the most difficult area of Intersection 1, but it's definitely got some confusing layout syndrome in the dungeon area of the lab section before you get to the big wool room. And there's also a bit of a balance problem, because this area here was more difficult than the room with the wool, although this one was actually more visually interesting. And I think maybe if you just expanded upon this idea, made it bigger and a bit more difficult, and just cut this whole thing out. Because this area is really more unique. This is just a typical kind of winding tunnel thing. Bunch of rooms, bunch of monster spawners. This one was a bit more interesting. Anyway, I did like this particular room, and it was less difficult than the other, but let's blow it up anyway. And that's a piece of glass. Let's hit the TNT. There you go. So the wool, I think, is like right down there-ish. Hello! Oh, look at that. Next area up is the first area of Intersection 2, even though I didn't take it on first, and it is hands down the most fun area in the entire map. This is Ninja Academy, which gives you jump boost and I think, yeah, speed in the area. There's also a number of potion showers here and there, I think. There's one over there where you can get different buffs. This area was a ton of fun, not the most challenging, probably not hard enough to be part of Intersection 2, but I thought it was a ton of fun. And let's blow it up. Oh, let's not die. Uh-oh. Here we go. Wow. Wow. So, next area up is the Reptile Stronghold, and it has a very Helicio kind of visual to it. They all start to look kind of very similar. They use a lot of stained clay, a lot of trees with a lot of vines in a big cave, and the castles, it all kind of starts to blend together. But this one is well designed with the reptile themed stuff. But I think the castle, not only is it too big, it's really confusing to navigate. Possibly the most confusing thing in the map, and it has that needle in a haystack problem. One of the worst instances of it in the map, where it's really hard to try to assess the castle and try to find where the wool is. Took me ages to find where the wool is in this thing, and that kind of stuff doesn't make the area more difficult. It just means it's more frustrating to try to navigate. So yeah, I really think the layouts need some work in their logic. There should be visual cues so you know where to go. Obviously, you know to go hit up this castle, but then once you get there, it's really hard to find where the wool is. But let's use some TNT there. Ooh, this might... that's a lot of TNT, and I'm kind of close to it. Oh, God. Blast resistance, don't fail me now. Okay. Pretty sure the map is going to update, and I'm going to be dead. Whoop. Oh, God. Oh! Oh, God! Wow, it's like a fireworks show. That's amazing. The game is so lagged, it's setting them off in sequence. I didn't set it up like that, it's just a whole bunch of TNT. Wow. Oh, it's not done. There's still more. Holy cow. Okay, wow. So my game has been stuck at less than 1 frame per second for well over an hour now, and I think it's eventually caught up. Everything is despawned. I think the major source of lag here, not only the TNT, but it was all of the silverfish blocks. Whenever the TNT goes off, it's got to create a silverfish every time it breaks one. Then the silverfish dies to TNT again, and then it's got to create experience. Little experience orbs were littering the ground, and I guess they all despawned. I had to pick up a bunch of them, and I managed to position myself right at the edge of the blast radius of this giant crater. Ooh, okay, moving on, finally. And next up is the hunting grounds. We're actually going to blow up this ravine from way up here so I can sit in the saturation shower in case there's a ton of lag so I don't starve to death while everything freezes to 1 frame per second. Hopefully there's no silverfish. This area has a really cool mechanic with the hunger and having to kill a wolf. I just think that the timer is far too short. It becomes really this frantic rush of trying to accomplish something within like a minute, and then going to find another dog, and then accomplish something within a minute. And because the terrain, it's so hard to see where you're going and where anything important is because of all the trees, it becomes a much more tedious experience than it should be. If the timer was maybe 3 times longer, maybe you had 3 minutes to operate before you had to kill another dog, I think that would make this a lot more fun and a lot less frustrating. Like the mechanic, not the implementation. And kaboobskis. And it's sinking in. Too far away to see the fire ticks. We should be safe from... Oh, lag. Oh, God. Yep. Okay, things... Alright. Maybe I shouldn't use this much TNT. Oh, it's slowing down. Oh, my. Wow. Okay. So the explosion stops, I think. Oh, wow. Is that void? No, those are just chunks not loading in. It is not finished updating, so nothing happened for about 30 minutes. It was like 1 frame per second. And then it just caught up all at once. And apparently, all of the potions have to catch up with their scheduled activities now. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Wow, that's crazy. All right, next area. Oh my. Okay, so next area was supposed to be Crumbling Abyss, but apparently they aren't connected, these two areas, Crumbling Abyss and the hunting grounds. One leads to the other, and the TNT from one blew up and triggered the other one, so it already blew up. Wow, okay, so it blew up. This area was really tricky and tense. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's so close to the void fog, so any mistake you make is a total 100% failure. I don't like total failure states in these maps. If it was higher up off the ground, and you could ender pearl or use water to swim back up. That would make the difficulty a lot more enjoyable. Anyway, okay, let's get out of here. Let's go head to the next area. Okay, next area up is Trinity Caves. Area with a lot of sand, a lot of ghasts, a lot of creepers, a lot of blazes, and more importantly, invincible charged creepers all over the place, which would have been a really fun mechanic to play around with this in the area, except for the fact that the emeralds are all in unmarked chests. And so it's really hard to assess the situation. Whoa! Okay, I didn't do that. Wasn't me. It's really hard to assess the threat. And can I be reckless here? Can I allow them to blow up? Or do I need to be incredibly careful? Because there's actually an objective that we might lose if we're not careful. So I think the whole problem with this area could be easily fixed if the chests with emeralds in them are just marked. That's it. That's it. All right. I think I actually need to be standing like way over there to be safe here. There's just going to be a lot of monsters running around. I tried to light it up a bit. There was extra sets of TNT, which I already pre-exploded just so they wouldn't ricochet into me. Let's just do a really high arcing shot. Okay, that definitely hit. I'm going to stand. No, we won't really be able to see, will we? Oh, God! Hello! Acid, Wisconsin. Hello! Whoa, look at that stuff falling. Is that sand? Sand's falling. This one seems much less laggy than the previous one. Whoa! I wonder if it's the configuration. Because I used a vertical column of TNT instead of a horizontal one. Maybe it doesn't spread as fast because when they get activated, they fall. I'm not sure, but this one seems much more reasonable. Maybe because there's also no silverfish here. Whoa, okay, sorry. Oh, no, there's definitely lag. Okay, it just hasn't caught up with us. Well, that was pretty cool. Turns out, I think from the extreme lag, we saw some interesting sand mechanics. If you don't know, when a sand block falls, it turns into an entity, and you can redirect it with things like TNT explosions. And we saw some of that, but very slow. Very interesting. Next area. Next area, Sunken Colony. First area of intersection 3. This area is really good. Really well designed. It's really tricky to do underwater areas in these kinds of maps because of the usual tricky business of mobility and visibility and stuff like that. It had a good range of monsters with like explosions, but because there was water everywhere, it was more about the damage. Really tricky area. I think maybe it's a little bit too long. Maybe instead of having to click 6 of the switches to get to the wool area, maybe 4. And I say this as someone making videos. If I was playing this and not making videos, areas like this and the void fog area that we're gonna come up to in the dream, they might be. I might think they're better, but I think probably too big, a little bit too long and tedious. Okay, but we're gonna need a little bit of visibility here, so we should be able to see underwater. Ooh, that didn't work. Could have sworn that used to work. Why can't I see very well? It looks really cloudy. Is it because I have night vision? Maybe it's because of the potion making it worse. Well, we can kind of see. All right. So this one's going to be a little bit difficult because of the fact that explosions don't explode underwater. So we'll see how this goes. I tried to put it all in the center of this mountainy thing. There we go. There it goes. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, it works okay. Not too shabby. Take that, Sunken Colony. Next area, Mushroom Mania, Brown Wool. Cool area, cool monsters. I just have a little bit of a criticism that I really hate the inclusion of nausea effect here and in other areas like the Little Empire. you really shouldn't be making your players physically sick. Like, sometimes that nausea really makes me feel bad in real life, not just my character feeling bad. It really, I don't think it should be included. If you want to balance a really good effect and have it have a downside, have it do something else. Don't make your players throw up while they're playing your map. Okay, this one, not quite as much TNT. This should be more manageable, right? You would think. Oh, God. Oh, here they come. Whoa, here they come. It also suffers a bit from the Helicio look. All of his areas start to look kind of similar, like this area, and the Little Empire, and the Reptile area all have a very similar look. I think it's because of the inclusion of stained clay and mushroom blocks. Loves his stained clay, mushroom blocks, and either leaves or vines. A lot of areas have that combination of blocks. And of course, the fake Nexus. What a cool idea. I could even see this being a theme for an entire CTM, where you have a light side world and a dark side world. Kind of like a CTM version of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. That would be pretty cool, actually. But we're gonna blow it up. It was very cool. It had a pretty good amount of difficulty. I think if you die here, you respawn here is what I read. Of course, I never died here like some headless chickens, but that's okay. Take that, fake Nexus. That's what you get for being a fakey Nexus. Whoa, sand blocks. Sand blocks. Sand blocks. Okay, next up is the Green Wolf, split up into 3 nightmares, first of which is spider-themed. I think this is the least interesting of the 3, also the least challenging of the 3. It comes first, so I guess maybe that's appropriate, but the other 2 are really unique, and this one is kind of more of the same. It's got a lot of leaf blocks, a lot of vines, and it's a cavey area. There's no hardened clay, though, so I'll give you props for that. But it was kind of, just not as unique as it could have been, I think. Not my favorite area. Okay, but let's blow it up. Let's not, ooh, did that? Oh, it did. Okay. Are we safe here? I'm not sure. No, we're not safe. Maybe? Maybe we are. Eh, we're fine. Next up, the Vertigo area. This is my favorite area in the map. It had a simple premise. You're high up off the ground. There's glass. There's a lot of monsters. But the execution was just really nice. And I think what really added to it was the early CTM survival aspect to it. Because you couldn't go back home until you got out of here. So you had to make do with what you brought with you. So I had to really get resourceful here. Had to be very careful. Had a number of very close calls, and because we're high enough off of the ground away from the void fog, I could actually recover from mistakes with ender pearls, which you should have by the time you get to this point in the map. So let's blow it up. Fair warning, I'm not going to go to the Fear of the Dark area to blow that up because you won't be able to see anything. It's got void fog, and we might get killed by the ninjas while we're trying to blow it up. And the walls are all silverfish, so this might get extremely laggy. Holy moly. Okay, it's still going. We just can't see it anymore. Those are all silverfish, so this might just break the game. Maybe not. Here it comes again. That's the way to do it. Not one big chunk of TNT, you need like a long, thin, snake-looking thing. Next area, the invasion. I think this TNT may already be in the process of exploding because there's a bunch of redstone torches and stuff here, which I probably missed one. Yeah, okay, it's already exploding. The invasion. This area was probably not as difficult as it should have been. It was fun. I like the idea of the siege towers. I killed them all before approaching the castle. So I'm not sure exactly what the barrier to entry to the castle would have been. I think this area is going to be really hard to balance. Any way you figure it, because of the fact that it's open, and by this point, the player has a lot of very good gear, particularly things that add to their speed, which makes avoiding enemies very easy in this area, because you can run up to a series of spawners. They're all set to auto-spawn. You run in, trigger them all, run away, kill the enemies at range, and then run back in and destroy the spawners. It's not that simple, of course, but this area is a lot easier than, for instance, the Fear of the Dark area, where you just can't see what's going on, and the monsters there are actually stronger. So this area could probably be a little bit more difficult, and we're not actually getting to see any of the explosions. Maybe if we get a little bit closer. Or has it already happened? Probably already happened, and the game is just trying to catch up. Yeah, I think the best way to do these types of things, instead of making one big, huge chunk of TNT like that... Oh, now we hear it. Best way to do it is like we did in the Vertigo area. Oop. The Vertigo area, and we're... Oh, yeah, no experience orbs, because that would take too much of the resources of the game. It'll catch up to those experience orbs like in 3 or 4 hours. But the Vertigo area TNT went off flawlessly with hardly any lag. Really should have done them all like that. Unfortunately, I did not. Well, that was pretty successful, wasn't it? Obliterated the entire thing. There is nothing left except for all this lava, which is updated, and bedrock here and there. A really weird bedrock formation thing here. And I don't know why it has these shapes to it. I don't remember there being anything important back here. Maybe there's a spider. There's a spider right there. Let's kill him. I don't remember there being anything important here, but there might be like redstone and command block trickery in there. And there's a teleported to black hole. We're not going to go to the black hole area though and blow that up, because we're just going to get insta killed by the mechanics, because we won't be able to kill creepers while the TNT is going off, because it's going to lag out too much. Anyway, I think this was a fairly successful send off to the map. Very well designed map. It does have some flaws. The black wool, I don't think it needs that creeper mechanic at all. I don't think it adds anything to it. It just makes it more frustrating. Kind of like the hunting grounds. Unless you make the timer much longer. Maybe like 2 minutes instead of 25 seconds. But I enjoyed the map quite a bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. And we will see you in the future in other videos. So, have a good day. Bye-bye.